We know the struggle toward redeeming the soul of this nation is difficult and ongoing. The distance is short between peril and possibility. But faith teaches us the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. That's the faith we must hold on to for the Saturdays to come. We must hold on to hope. We must stay engaged. We must always keep the faith in a better day to come. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not kidding.
Tomorrow at noon, the curtain closes on 4 long years of American decline, and we begin a brand new day of American strength and prosperity, dignity and pride. Bringing it all back. Once and for all, we're going to end the reign of a failed and corrupt political establishment in Washington, a failed administration. We're not going to take it anymore.
A contrast of 2 presidents, with one leaving the White House and the other preparing to take the oath of office for a second time. We'll bring you complete coverage of President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration, including what we can expect today about his possible executive orders. We'll also take a look at the long list of his day one promises. Also ahead, the latest out of the Middle East as the first hostages held by Hamas for 15 months are reunited with their families. Plus, TikTok is back online for American users after a very brief ban. We'll dig into that reversal and the political implications. A lot going on, a very big day. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. It's Monday, January 20th, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Inauguration Day.
And we're going to be talking to Reverend Al Sharpton, and he's going to be here at 9 o'clock to be talking about that. He's going to be having a ceremony on the other end of the mall celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s day. Well, I do want to just say you got certainly a marked contrast between the outgoing president, the incoming president. It is extraordinary. Here we are again. I mean, this is only the second time this has happened. But you have a president who was out of office, coming back into office. Apparently, the reports are that Joe Biden got a letter from Donald Trump. That's one thing that Donald Trump did do when he left office that sort of nodded to history. Biden reportedly writing that back. So this has happened every 4 years, except for 4 years ago.
Right.
And you always have presidents coming in saying, things have been terrible. I'm going to make them better. If you talk about the missile gap that Kennedy did, we could go through all of that. I do just have to say, though, that when we hear about how horrible America is right now, I say this because Republicans will be judged 4 years from now, just like Jimmy Carter was judged 4 years after with Ronald Reagan. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And I just would be very careful with this talk in office, because you're talking about how horrible America is. We have to just keep reminding Americans. For Donald Trump's biggest supporters, stock market at a record high. Crime, violent crime at a 50-year low. Even illegal immigration going across the southern border, lower now than it was Donald Trump's last year in office. Unemployment, near record lows. Wages have continued to go up year after year. So there are challenges. Housing, the interest rates seem to be going up. And I would just say that is the biggest warning going into this, is this economy is still much hotter. Much hotter. That's Joe Biden's biggest problem. The economy that he has shepherded through over the past 4 years is too strong. And we're just this side of another explosion in inflation if the wrong policies are implemented.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it was inflation. You can factor in immigration and some cultural issues as well, but it was inflation that things cost too much, that probably cost Kamala Harris, that cost Democrats at the ballot box a couple of months ago. And as you say, that report we got on Friday showed prices still pretty hot. It's something the Fed's going to have to grapple with now under this new President Donald Trump. But otherwise, if you look again at the data, and that was all true before the election, too, this is a very strong economy. So the idea of American carnage, and we're first getting some a look into what the incoming president is going to say in his inaugural address today. It doesn't sound like it's as much American carnage as it was last time. But clearly, the tone that he set during the campaign, and we heard again last night, is I'm inheriting a disaster.
Exactly.
And I am the one who has arrived to fix it. Most Americans, inflation notwithstanding, don't believe that we are living in a terrible country.
Well, along with Joe, Willie, and me, we have the co-host of our fourth hour, Jonathan Lemire. He's a contributing writer at The Atlantic, covering the White House and national politics. NBC News and MSNBC political analyst, former U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill is here. MSNBC contributor Mike Barnicle and Rogers Chair in the American presidency at Vanderbilt University, historian John Meacham. In just a few short hours, Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 47th president of the United States. In a wide-ranging phone interview with NBC News on Saturday, Trump said the theme of his inauguration speech today will be unity and strength, and also used the word fairness, just as he did back in 2017. Trump is entering office as a political disruptor, promising to seize momentum starting on day one.
You know, Claire McCaskill, it's so important for people to read the political climate. And when I was interviewing Bill Clinton a couple months ago at the 25th anniversary of his presidential library, he said Democrats, in effect, forgot to meet people where they are. I love that you're here as somebody that represented Missouri and represented a state that has gone deep red. Now we can sit and grind our teeth and get angry if you're a Democrat at home and you don't like how Wisconsin accepts. But it seems to me the biggest challenge for Democrats are the Missouris that have gone deeper red. Texas, that Obama lost by 13, Hillary lost by 9, Biden lost by 5, and then boom, went the other way. When you see this, when Democrats are looking not only at this speech but the next 2 years ahead, how should they be thinking about today, the political future, and how they turn things around and stop the momentum, especially in middle America, that they've got to win back if they want to win the Senate?
Well, it's going to take some discipline. It's going to take a party that remains laser focused on what folks are really worried about. And like it or not, Donald Trump created a crisis around immigration. So I don't think it's a good idea to say, okay, we're going to try to fight him about deporting people who have committed crimes. I mean, that's not a good idea. Laser focused on costs the American people, food, insurance, health care, and then really importantly, Joe, be a good opposition party in exposing the broken promises. The promises that will be broken are like a minefield. We know that because we know he promised things. There's no way this Congress will do it. There's no way he can accomplish it under the law or the Constitution. And if we get distracted by his nonsense, you know, which we have a tendency to do. By the way, for the past decade. Yes.
Concentrating on every tweet. And by the way, that's almost everybody.
Yeah,
that's almost all of us.
Because he says stupid stuff.
For the last decade. But you've been saying, and I'm shocked by how many Democrats, how many progressives have been saying, you know what, there's so much of that stuff. We just need to let go by and focus on the signal and not the ground noise.
That's exactly right. Focus on the fact that he is not accomplishing what he promised. He's not delivering for the people who take a shower after work instead of before work.
Right.
He's not going to concentrate on those folks. He doesn't even like those folks.
They like him, though.
They love him because they think he is a guy that says out loud the stuff you're not supposed to say, and they feel like they've been screwed over by the system. Now, he is not going to be their savior. They think he is. And our party, the Democratic Party, has to focus on his failures, not his nonsense, and then stay focused on the cost to the American people. I mean, insurance is a big deal right now, Joe.
Right.
It's sky high everywhere. Nobody understands why it's getting so high. There really needs to be some discipline around issues like that in the Democratic Party, because, frankly, that's our bread and butter. That's our meat and potatoes, not this, okay, he's going to buy Greenland or whatever stuff he says just to try to get attention.
Right. So, and you are so right. The health insurance crisis is devastating. People are paying more every day. They're getting less coverage every day. Car insurance is a nightmare.
They can't
Homeowners
afford
insurance
anything.
is a nightmare. Rental insurance is a nightmare. Interest rates up to 7% now. There are a lot of challenges for working Americans, but there are a couple of polls I want to talk about in a minute, Mika, with John Meacham. The Wall Street Journal poll that came out this weekend, also the New York Times poll that came out this weekend, showing that Donald Trump and what he said during the campaign connected. And even with people that don't necessarily like Donald Trump, they like what he's saying on the issues. And we'll go through those polls in a bit. Well,